do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark.
Greetings folks, Dice Kitty here, and I'm doing something a little different with my board game reviews. I put an article out about some of my site changes, so that was included in there. I did not go into detail about how I was changing it though, so surprise, guess what? Doing video review of the components and gameplay now. So it'll be a little bit easier to access, I think, that way. I'll have a link in the article to the video, and I will also in the video description have a link to the article. Now the article will no longer go into detail about the components or the gameplay. It'll just have the other stuff in it, like the game description that's on the publisher's website, what the players thought about it, and whether to buy, B-U-Y, or buy, B-Y-E. So we are looking at Shark Island for 2 weeks. I don't remember the dates. It'll be in my article. Shark Island is very much a Jaws themed game, which is kind of cool. There are a bazillion components to this game, so I don't even know where to start. There are decks of cards, there are player boards. Let's just start with player boards then. There are different hunters that will combat the shark, and every hunter board has a life tracker, which is right here on the side, and you get a bunch of these little plastic clear chips. They remind me of like bingo chips or something, and you cover up how much your health is, and you can still see through it because they're translucent. That's cool. Thank you, Upper Deck, for that. The shark also has one too, so you just put it, you know, wherever on the life tracker that the shark has his health at. So you've got the player boards and the little plastic life tracker pieces. Each player has a deck of cards to match their character. So these are, I believe, standard size. They look standard size. I didn't check, but they all have abilities on them, and the colors match, and they also have the picture of the hunter. So it does help for those that are colorblind that the picture is on there. That's good. The shark also has his own deck, and these are relatively thin decks, but I promise you're probably not going to run through the whole deck. There's also the goal cards for the shark. There's only like 4 of them. These don't need to be shuffled, so you won't need sleeves for those unless you just want to sleeve them. The calendar cards, these change periodically throughout the game, and they do need to be shuffled, so I would sleeve those. Then you have oh, I can't remember what this is called. I think it's called the combat deck. That's the back of it. This is a much thicker deck, and it has numbers on it. So there's all the decks of cards. I've shown you the player boards. Now, oh, also for the players, they all have these little tokens to represent their particular hunter. Sorry, I'm trying to do this backward here. And each one of these on the bottom will have this little plastic piece to help them stand up. So the shark gets one too. And first player token also has one. And those are standard punch out, you know, cardboard punch out pieces. So are these. These are the reroll tokens, and there are a specific number of them. So throughout the game, as you acquire these, if at any point you go to acquire one and there's not one, too bad, you don't get it. Same goes for the shark coins. If the shark would acquire coins and there are no more coins left, well, too bad, the shark doesn't get one. They have to spend their coins to acquire more. Those are all standard cardboard punch outs. The terror tokens, which tell you what you've terrorized basically. They are also standard cardboard punch outs. These are for the shark. The shark will acquire these and they help the shark meet whatever goal they picked at the beginning of the game. So you only get one of these as the shark. Alright, there's those. Also, the only other cardboard punch out pieces are the fin tokens. And there are a ton of these little guys here. Because throughout the gameplay as the shark, you are going to get a bunch of these. I can't even pick all of them up. There's a bunch of them. And they all have different things on them. Like, there's a school of fish and a giant manta ray. And there's a dolphin and driftwood. There's even a kid with a fake fin. Now, those are all things that could be mistaken for a shark. But there are also the shark. And there are also hazards that could potentially pop up, such as a hammerhead or... Oh, that's not a hammerhead. That's actually a shark ramming a boat. I can't see things, apparently. And then fog. So if you pop one of these as the hunter on the particular location, they do bad things. So all of those are just standard cardboard punch out pieces. Over time, they could see some wear. I would say probably more so the shark and some of the false fins could wear down, so just treat them gently, I guess. Oh, I almost forgot about these. Each player, as a hunter, has something called fight tokens, and they have on their player board where it says fight, they get a little wooden cube of the same color. Now this is where colorblind folks might have a problem because they did not mark these cubes in any way, but it's okay because they just sit on the board and you can use them. I believe it's to re-roll. I forget. Thank goodness this isn't a tutorial video, guys. But there's only enough cubes for each hunter's particular card. So like the yellow hunter would have 3, the pink, the green, and the orange get 1, and the red and the blue get 2, and the shark gets 2 as well. So don't lose the little cubes because there are no more. They did not like send extras in those. Alright, so there's more. That's not all the components. You also have this cardboard piece. It feels like a standard punch out piece. It's about as thick as these tokens here, and this helps you when you go into combat with the shark. You're trying to get as close as you can to the number 23 without going over. That's basically how you fight with the shark, and that's with the combat deck. If you bust and you go over 23, then too bad, you don't win. So there are also 3 dice in here, and there are different designs on each side, and they all have their own special abilities that do different things. And the game also comes with this plastic yellow barrel. Another Jaws reference there. And players use this to roll the dice. So, cool, cute. Not necessary though, but it's still kind of cool. The island tiles, you shuffle these the best you can, and you'll place them out depending on the number of hunters and so on and so forth. They all have their own little markers on here, so like the shark would get 3 false fin tokens when the turn starts for this. You can only use 3 of the I can't remember what the little binoculars are called now, but you can only use 3 of these on this tile before you go into the actual searching phase. Confirmed sighting. I knew I'd remember it. So you can only do 3 confirmed sightings on this tile. This tile can only have 1 confirmed sighting, but right here, the terror 2 through 4, that tells you how many potential terror tokens that the shark can get if it terrorizes this island tile. So there are going to be multiple island tiles out, like on the board. So it could be more beneficial for the shark to go after something that doesn't have as many terror tiles on it, because the players are going to expect the shark to go after this one. But that's all strategy that just comes down to gameplay. But these are also same thickness cardboard as everything else. I can imagine that these will probably see some wear the more you play. Alright, so now the one thing I have a gripe about is this. This is the shark screen, and it doesn't stand up right. I think they should have angled the cuts on these to help it lean back a little bit so it would not fall forward. There were too many times that, see, I'm having trouble with it now. It wants to fall forward too often. So what I would do is I would put the little barrel in front of it, and that kept it from falling over. The players did not use this to roll the dice. It stayed here as a prop for the shark screen. And that is so the players can't see like your fin tokens, your coins, and whatnot, which it's a necessary piece, but I think they could have designed it a little better. On the back, it's your player aid. Yeah, there are no player aids for the game, period, except for this. So what it comes down to is the shark player going through the phases and helping the players to keep track of what phase you're in and what happens next. Because guys, there is too much going on. Look at all this stuff. That's a lot of stuff to have go on. But it does have for the shark what they can spend their tokens for. It also has what certain symbols mean during the combat stuff, and during the hunter phase what the dice symbols mean. So, but the order of play, the combat card reminders, and the hunter phase icon reminders really needed to be on a card for the players as well. As the shark, it is no fun doing all of this and helping everyone remember what's going on. And so those are all the components, and since we've gone through all those, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the gameplay since I've already kind of talked about it a little bit. Shark Island order of play. You've got 7 phases. Calendar phase, shark phase, hunter phase, search phase, combat phase, terrorize phase, and dusk and reset phase. Alright, so in the calendar phase, you pass the first player token to the next player. You draw a calendar card, so that whatever you draw will be in effect until the next turn. And the green cards are benefits for the hunters, red cards are benefits for the shark, and yellow doesn't benefit anybody. The number up here tells you how many tiles plus or minus the number of hunters. So if you had 3 people playing, not counting the shark, just hunters. So a 3 hunter game would be 4 people because there would be a shark. So that would be 5 island tiles. The yellow ones mostly do 0, so it's just however many hunters there are. There is like a plus and like a +2, and then see there's a -1. So anyway, so you draw the calendar card, then you place the island tiles, then the shark player will gain the fins, and those are the ones that I mentioned briefly. They're up in the corner, and like this is a 2, a 3, and a 3. So that'd be 6, 7, 8. Shark gains 8 fins on top of their starting ones. I believe they start with 2, maybe 3. I can't remember. After the shark gains their fins, it goes into the shark phase. draw one shark card. So from the shark player's deck, shark gets to draw one card. Spend shark tokens, so these little shark coins. Shark gets to spend those on various things. Place fins, so the shark will go through and put however many fins it wants to on any island tile, as long as every island tile has one fin on it. Once that's done, the hunter phase begins. Roll action dice. So whoever's got the first player marker goes first. They roll action dice. Check for power-ups. So 3 shark icons, the shark gets a terror, one of the terror tokens. 3 buoys, the shark gets a wound. So after you check for the power-ups, you then perform 2 actions on the 3 dice that you rolled. Then you set sail or you dry dock. Setting sail means you go to one of the island tiles. Dry dock means you stay home. After that, there's phase 4, which is the search phase. You search island tiles beginning with the first tile. Oh, before I forget, the hunter phase. There's the first player, then the second player, then the third, then the fourth. After all the hunters have gone through the hunter phase, then you move into the search phase. So all hunters do their own hunter phase before the search one. You search island tiles beginning with the first tile. You can search based on however many dice you get to roll, which you have to have certain things for that. Oh, I think it's the binoculars and the buoys, I believe, because of all the things that are on here, they didn't put that on here. I'm pretty sure you have to have rolled buoys and binoculars in order to search. You resolve tokens as revealed. If the shark is not found, you go straight to terrorize. But if the shark is found, you move into phase 5, which is combat. Shark player deals 2 combat cards to each player, 1 face up, 1 face down. Players can look at the face down card. Everyone gets to see the face up card. You deal additional cards until all players have passed. That includes to the shark. Reveal totals and resolve combats. If the shark wins, proceed to terrorize phase. So now we're at the terrorize phase. That's if the shark won the combat or if nobody found the shark. You flip an island tile to reveal the terror number. Then you draw the terror tokens, and there's a hunter's response. That's only if there's a hunter at the island tile that the shark was on but wasn't found during the search phase. And that's just where they can do like their own combat thing. Then there's dusk phase and reset phase. So you remove the island tiles, you return all the stuff to its original settings, and you start back over with the calendar phase, drawing a new card, or passing the first player token, draw a new calendar card, so on and so forth. Oh my goodness. Man, that's a lot going on. If you don't play this game on a regular basis, like probably at least like once or twice a week, you're never going to remember all this. And it's never fun to have to sit there and go through an entire phase thing like this, like a turn order. I prefer simpler turn orders than that, but that's a lot of stuff. There's a lot going on. I think there's a lot of redundancy with this gameplay. And I think they could have cleaned it up a little bit, but I mean, I know there are people who like the game. And the game was somewhat fun, I guess. It was, I did try it with one person, so, it was just a 2-player, because it's supposed to be a 2-player game. But when you play with just 2 people, one is the shark, one gets to play 2 hunters. It feels like if you're only playing with 2 hunters, the shark's going to win every time. I never took damage because I was playing the shark. I never took damage. I never felt like I was, in danger. I kept flipping like 2 shark cards out of the combat deck. There's only like 8 of them jokers in here. And I would flip 2 like every time we played. This is what they look like. I'd flip 2, and that's an automatic victory for the shark. So it was no fun for the other person playing. But I guess it's fun if you play the shark. Jaws gets to win this time. But I think with more people, it's more fun and it's a little more balanced. It's just very unbalanced for just 2 people or even 3 people, because then there's still just 2 hunters. I feel like there need to be 3 or more hunters to balance the game out. But that's just my opinion. We haven't played it a ton, so that could also have something to do with it. I think if we had played the game more, I might have a wider variety of outcomes to pull from. But the outcomes I've had so far, if I had bought this game, I probably would feel kind of cheated unless I was playing the shark every time. But I kind of look at it like this. It's like Forbidden Island. You don't go in thinking that you're going to win. You go in trying to see how much you can accomplish before you lose. That's how I feel about this game. But Forbidden Island is much easier to play. So for a game like this that's so complex, going into it with that mindset, it's almost a downer a little bit. So gameplay, kind of give it a thumbs down. I'm not huge on this turn order and how much there is involved in the actual gameplay. I feel like it's just too much. So be sure to check out my article for a buy or buy. I think from this particular review you're gonna have a pretty good idea of what that's gonna be. I did not get any player comments on this one. Nobody really had anything they wanted to say about it. So, but still, go check it out, and I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks with another game then. So, board out, game on.